Today, I'm going to show you how to create Conjure Cocoa Instant Hot Beverage. This is just like the cocoa Queenie and Tina made for Newt and Jacob and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. The things we'll need to create our Conjure Cocoa is one tin. I opted for this square tin. It was a set of 6 on Amazon. I love the color. I love the seal. It comes with a little bag and some ties. You could definitely use a recycled tin that maybe you spray paint whatever color you want for the base. You could use a box or a jar you find at a craft store or anything like that, but this is the one I opted for, and I will put the link in the description down below. Then to make our actual Conjure Cocoa, we are going to use some powdered sugar, as well as some cocoa powder, a little bit of salt. We're going to use some French vanilla pudding, just a little bit of it. I normally use French vanilla creamer, but I'm opting to make this one soy-free. We normally would use some cook and serve chocolate pudding mix, but because I need it to be soy-free so that my sister can enjoy it, we are going to use the instant mousse mix that I know has no soy in it. Now, the Kroger brand instant pudding and pie filling does not have soy, but they were out of the chocolate, so I wasn't able to pick it up. Otherwise, I may have done the chocolate pudding from Kroger instead of the mousse, but the mousse is going to work just the same. It just gives us a thicker, creamier texture in our hot cocoa. And then since we're not using these in bomb form, where normally you would have the outside chocolate shell that is also going to melt into your cocoa and give you that rich chocolate creaminess, we're going to add a little bit of regular chocolate. So I have opted for a soy-free chocolate, which is the Guittard brand. There are other brands out there that are allergy-free and dairy-free and all that. You could definitely use one of those. I do recommend if you're going to do chocolate chips, that you do the mini chocolate chips. They melt a whole lot easier. But we're actually going to do something a little different. We are going to make chocolate shavings to add to ours. So I have melted down some of these chocolate chips into the molds that are provided with this chocolate shaver. And I've loaded this with the soy-free chocolate. So this is really a cool product that I just found on Amazon. And I picked it up and I thought, well, we'll see how long it lasts and all that. I do wish parts of this were metal. It is plastic, but it does give us really consistent shaved chocolate. And I can do it with whatever kind of chocolate I like, which I think is a really big plus. So we're going to do shaved chocolate because it's going to melt super fast in our hot cocoa, but still give us that same effect that we get from the outer shell of a cocoa bomb. Then to mix everything up, we're going to need a mixing bowl and a whisk, and I'm using assorted measuring cups and spoons. To cut our design out for our tin, we are going to need some scissors. And then we're going to be using Waterslide Transfer Paper today. So you will need a glass container that you can put some water in that's not too deep. And then we are going to use our cutout design from this Waterslide Transfer Paper. This is the clear kind. I'll put a link to this in the description. But this is going to give us a really cool effect for our tin. I can't wait to show you what it does. I did also put a version in there that you could print on regular sticker paper. So both of those will be in the link in the description down below. Let's get started. Would you like a chance to win a monthly potion? Then consider supporting me over on Patreon. All of my patrons have a chance to win a monthly potion. Link is in the description down below. And if Patreon isn't your speed, we have membership here on the channel. You can click the link right below, and all of my members get really great icons and emojis to use in the comment section. We are going to go ahead and make our cocoa first. So I went ahead and added my 2 cups of powdered sugar. Then we're going to add a 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. I'm going to add the whole package of the mousse, but again, you could also do cook and serve chocolate pudding. The instant would work too, but the instant sometimes makes your cocoa just a little bit too thick too quickly. It's okay for the vanilla that we're using some of the instant because we're only going to put in a couple tablespoons, but I do find that the cook and serve pudding does better with the cocoa mix. We're going to add in just a little bit of salt. It's always good to add a little salt with your sweet. And then we're going to add just 2 tablespoons of this French vanilla pudding mix. But again, you could also do the powdered vanilla creamer. I'm going to whisk all this up first. And then we'll add in our chocolate shavings. Now that everything is mixed together nicely, we're going to go ahead and use my little chocolate shaver here to add some chocolate shavings. And again, I loaded this with the soy-free chocolate. So as you can see, we get these really nice chocolate shavings in a very quick manner. Yes, you can shave it and do it yourself, but sometimes that's really inconsistent. If you don't have the right tools, you can cut yourself. So I find this to just make perfect chocolate shavings. They're going to do what we want them to do in a really quick method. And I can just put the cap on this and close it up until I need more chocolate shavings for a dessert or the top of a cocoa or whatever I may need it for. Okay, I'm going to start with that, and we're going to mix this in, and then I'm going to add some more. And we're going to mix this in, and then I think we should be good. We've got our luscious chocolate shavings in there and all of our other ingredients, and 2 tablespoons of this with some warm milk is going to make a super decadent, really yummy, creamy hot cocoa. And this one is soy-free. Now that our cocoa is all made, we're going to go ahead and make our tin. So I based all of the designs for this off of what Mina Lima made for Fantastic Beasts when Queenie and Tina make Newt and Jacob hot cocoa. This is what the container that never actually made it onto the screen looked like. So it had these beautiful Conjure Cocoa 1920s inspired designs, and so I replicated and kind of gave it a little bit of my own spin. And we're going to be able to put this on here, and because this is clear, you're going to see everything that's in white is going to be the color of the tin, which is going to be perfect because then you'll be able to see that really pretty bronzy gold color through the design itself, and it's going to make it look like it's just printed right onto the tin. As I said, this is Waterslide Transfer Paper. It is the clear kind, and I used this stuff in college, and I forgot how amazing it is, and something brought it up to me the other day, and I was like, you know what? We're going to use this in a couple things coming up. So all we're going to need is a container with some water, and I just have a tiny bit in here, just enough to sink the whole piece of paper in our transfer here, so then that way the backing paper will be able to be slipped off. I do recommend you use wet fingers when we're placing this onto our item, and they actually tell you to use a squeegee. I remember back in college, I don't like using a squeegee. I like to use my fingers, and then I use a paper towel, and I find that that is a method that has worked for me. Sometimes a squeegee can actually tear your design, and I just don't want that. So, like I said, this is the laser printer kind. There is an inkjet kind. I personally think the inkjet kind is more trouble than it's worth. If you'd have to, you can actually print this on a color copier. You just need to put one sheet of the transfer paper in at a time. If you put more than one, it's likely going to get sucked up and then it heats together. It's just a problem. So just do one sheet at a time and print it on there and you'll be good to go. And if you don't want to use the Waterslide paper, like I said, I did put a sticker paper version in there as well. So all we're going to do is put this in our water, and we're going to let it sit for about 30 seconds or so. And if you really watch it, you can kind of see that as it's getting closer to being ready, it will kind of straighten back out a little bit more. And when we first put it in, it was very curled, and that's kind of an indicator too that it's going to be ready. Now we can pull this out. Oops, see, it's already trying to come off for us here. So I'm just going to put that back in the water so that it can go back to its little backing paper. Perfect. And all we're going to do is slip the design up just a little bit above the actual backing paper. And then we're going to place it onto our tin. Now, this will all be completely movable. As you can see, it's sliding all over the place. So now we are going to slip the backing paper off. And like I said, I like to work with damp fingers, just so then that way we make sure we're handling the design as safely as possible. This is not easy to do from behind a camera here, but we're going to make it work. So I'm just trying to make sure that everything looks like it's pretty straight and even. Okay, I think that's close. Now, don't get too worried about it being perfect right away, because when you start to squeegee some of the water out from underneath, it is likely that it may move a little bit. And that's okay, because we'll be able to, like I said, shift it back. So I'm just kind of pushing some of the water out from underneath. And then I'm going to try to, again, make sure it's good and straight. And then I'm going to take a paper towel, and I'm going to kind of hold part of the design down, and just very lightly I'm pushing some of that excess water out from underneath our design. Okay, let me make sure this is good and straight. And we still, if you guys, I don't know if you guys are going to see, there's still some ripples, so it's not perfectly down yet. It will be in a moment here, but I just want to make sure that I feel like it's good and even. Okay, so we're going to continue to squeegee the water out here. And you can use this on any non-porous surface. So you can do it on wood. Wood's got a little bit of a porous, but if you paint it with some Mod Podge first to smooth it out, you can definitely use it on there. You can use it on glass. You can use it on anything. I love this stuff. It's porcelain, ceramics. It is so versatile and so cool. And it does come in white as well if you wanted to put it on a darker object. But I think the clear is definitely my favorite application. I've done it on glass before. It's really cool. Okay. So I think we're fairly straight. Okay, that looks good to me. I'm just going to do one more little quick wipe through. And then this just needs to sit for a couple hours. You can take a hairdryer to it if you really want to speed up its drying, but honestly, right now, as it is, it's good to rock and roll. But I just want you guys to see how cool this really is. It looks like it's printed right onto the tin, and then we can see the tin right through everywhere that was white on our design. So I have made pieces for all four sides as well as the top. So I have these for the sides that just say C&CC Apothecary's Finest Conjure Cocoa with the little wand. And they have it so that the wands are in opposite directions so that when it's on the sides, it's not like it's matchy-matchy. For the back panel, I have the instructions. To make each cup of delicious cocoa, place 2 heaping tablespoons of Conjure Cocoa to your cauldron or mug. Add 8 ounces of hot milk. Wave wand to brew finished hot cocoa beverage and enjoy. Now, when I say use milk, it can be any milk. I don't care if you use soy milk, almond milk, oat milk, goat milk, whatever is your fancy. If you don't want to use cow milk, that is perfectly fine. But I do think that milk just gives it a better consistency. You could do it with water too. It's just not going to be as creamy. And then for the very top of the tin, I have this one. So basically, I looked at 1920s cocoa tins and found that they a lot of times were square. It had designs on all four sides as well as the top, so I just kind of wanted to mimic that with our Conjure Cocoa. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other sides. With that, we have all of our sides done. So now I'm just going to let this dry for a couple hours. So while our tin is drying, I'm going to take one of the included bags and we're going to fill it up with our yummy cocoa mix. And we have our yummy cocoa powder.
Thought you might like a hot drink.
Now that our tin is dry and is filled with our lovely cocoa, we have our Conjure Cocoa, just like it's out of the 1920s in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. So without further ado, let's make some cocoa. And I think I want to add some whipped cream. And maybe a little bit of chocolate shavings on the top. Perfect. And there you have it, our Conjure Cocoa instant hot beverage. Perfect with one wave of the wand. This will be a fun addition to have in your kitchen, and this hot cocoa will definitely add comfort on a cold day. So if you guys like this video, give me the thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and we will catch you guys later. Thanks so much.
Look, Coco.
Oh, I made him cocoa.